Hello and welcome to another episode of Corner Office. I'm Dan Ginden. Mayor Nancy Stevens will have on as guests today Dave Grasso and Priscilla Ryder. But first, we always like to take the first part of the show, and I'd like to introduce Mayor Nancy Stevens. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. It has been a little while.
Yeah, we've been
a little busy, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit.
About budgets and things. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, we've been a little busy.
Yeah. So actually, let's get right into that. We are taping on June 15th. So the budget will be voted on tonight. But first, let's talk about the operating budget.
The operating budget. Well, that's the City Council's called a special meeting for tonight to vote on the Finance Committee recommendations on the operating budget. And the reason they called the special meeting is, by law, when I submitted the budget, the council has 45 days to act on that budget. If they fail to act and take a final vote on it, then the budget that I submitted becomes the budget. They can't make any changes to it. The last day is June 22nd at midnight. So if they have the meeting that night, 8 o'clock, they go long, they could conceivably not get all the deliberations in.
Right.
So it was a long process. I think this was probably the most difficult budget I've had in terms of putting it together, first of all, making the decisions. It really was a difficult decision for me with the positions that we eliminated. As you know, we eliminated 2 police officer positions. Yes. They were open positions. 2 DPW employees, half a position of a firefighter. We have a firefighter retiring, and I chose not to fund that to fill for the second half of the year. In addition, the school budget, that was very difficult. We had 21, 22 positions eliminated at the school department. But I think with the school department, those are real people, they're real positions. There are going to be people, unfortunately, who are going to lose their jobs. But I think there's been kind of a misconception about those reductions. That was something we talked about months ago before we actually even looked at the budget. And the superintendent looked at it as a redeployment of the people and using people more effectively and efficiently. We don't have the numbers to support some of the positions in terms of the student population. Our enrollment figures have gone down. So it really was combining some of the classes so that we were able to still be within our goal range for class size, but we were able to reduce some positions. And in these tough fiscal times, it really made sense to use our staff more efficiently. So that's really what we were doing. So that was voted on, and that reorganization and redeployment took place months before the budget actually was voted on. So that was something that was a given.
Right.
So that was really difficult.
But if I could interject too,
sure.
People, I think they need to see the big picture as well and see what's going on in other communities, because I happen to know in the Wachusett regional district, they're considering, they may have to cut out art, gym. These are big deal things, but we are still in a financial crisis. Even though we aren't where we were 6 months ago, it's still not a good looking outlook for any state, really.
I mean, we've seen this year in FY09 reductions in our state aid mid-year. And luckily, we are in a position where we were okay with those reductions, where other communities were laying people off mid-year.
Right.
And we have been fiscally responsible. I mean, the last 4 years, we have done a great job of managing our money, our assets. I mean, we've grown our stabilization account since I've been in office, which has saved us right now. We have the resources. We have the free cash that we've been able to get every year. I mean, we had a record amount of free cash this year, which helped us when we needed it. It's what's offsetting right now. We were able, there's a transfer pending before the City Council to transfer money to pay off our snow and ice deficit. It's the one account every year that the state allows you to run in deficit. Right. So we only budget $500,000 for it, but we need another $1.5 million to cover that. And because we had the free cash, we're able to pay that off. I think we're going to talk in a little while about the capital budget, but that's another thing in terms of responsible, being fiscally responsible and having the money to do what we need to do. But getting back to the operating budget, again, it was really difficult for me putting it together. It was difficult decisions to make. The budget went down. It was 1.6% less, 1.7% less than last year's. So if you really think about it, when we historically go up about $5 million plus the reductions in revenues, we really were looking at significant dollar amount reduction, because there's cost increases that come with contracts, not necessarily employee contracts, but our solid waste contracts, our food service, our transportation, all of those things have increase every year. They never go down.
Right.
And so it was really difficult to come up with this budget. I guess I'm a little concerned about the direction. Obviously the council has not voted tonight. They'll vote tonight.
Right.
I'm concerned with the direction that they've gone in with some of the reductions. I'm very concerned about three things in particular. One is, and it sounds like it's a trivial thing, but the temporary part-time helpline that has historically been in my budget, where if anybody in City Hall, or actually anybody within the city, on the city side, not the schools, is out for an extended period, the money was under my control and I could authorize temporary replacement. We had somebody in the city clerk's office out for 9-10 weeks, and we were able to bring, city clerk had requested along with the council president to fill that position, and we brought somebody in. In my office, there's only 2 people, and one's out for a week on vacation. Phones are ringing off the hook, and my aide can't get anything done if they're answering the phones all the time, and you're preparing agendas, attending meetings. It's just, we've had somebody out sick, on and off, technical. We don't have somebody to fill that position. We need to bring somebody in. So I'm really concerned about how that's going to work. I mean, our departments are down to bare bones. We don't have extra people within departments to be able to cover for other people. I understand where some of the city councilors are saying, some offices, people go on vacation and, you don't. But when you have people that, you need licensed people to do certain things, there isn't somebody that can pick that up. So what are we going to do? Not have, specific inspections or something done? That concerns me. The other thing that concerns me is the reduction in the fire department overtime. And again, while I understand where some of the counselors are coming from in terms of looking at how many people take off, it's unpredictable. You have 2 people on vacation, and then somebody calls out sick or gets hurt, and then somebody ends up on jury duty. That's 4 people out. You have to have minimum staffing on these pieces of apparatus, or it doesn't work. So what we're going to end up, if we don't have the money to fund the overtime to fill these positions, then we're going to end up closing stations. And I'm very concerned about that. And I'll do everything I can to get that money restored. If we're running out, and I'm not going to be the one that's going to close stations. I absolutely am fundamentally opposed to closing fire stations. Which one do you close? Where is it? You leave one end of the town exposed. I mean, we have right now an order pending before the city council that was brought in to look at opening another station on the other end of town, on the west side of town, because with the mall and all the industry over there, we're just not sufficiently covered in that side of the city. But unfortunately, it's been, fiscally, we haven't been able to afford that. I mean, you're talking staffing, you're talking the capital to build a station, equip a station, and then staff a station, and we just haven't been in that position to do it. So that has me very concerned. I think things are, there's unpredictability when you're talking about people and staffing, and you have to be able to do what you need to do to cover the city. I fundamentally believe this is a public safety issue, and we need to take care of that. The last part has to do with the reduction of proposed reduction of 2 employees at the DPW. I am absolutely fundamentally opposed to that. They asked for a report on the Forestry, Parks, and Cemetery Division about possibly outsourcing. The report comes in. It clearly shows that it's more efficient for us to do it in-house. I think we have, if you look at our playgrounds, our parks, our fields, our cemeteries, our roads, we do a great job. And to eliminate 2 more positions, I mean, it was hard enough for me to eliminate 2, but to eliminate 2 more, with absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, no rationale behind why they're going to do it and how they expect the operations to continue. And I'm very concerned about that, because the expectation, I know the expectation is going to be there that the services are still going to occur, and it's not going to happen. It really cannot happen with a reduction, that much of a reduction in staff. And so I'm really concerned about the direction some of these things are going and how we operate as a city with these reductions. I think that the budget that I submitted was a good budget. I think it was a fiscally responsible budget. It was a reduction from 09.
Say, right.
So how, I don't see the point in some of these reductions and where some of the counselors were going with this.
What can you do then as mayor? You've had the budget hearings, the discussions have been there, the arguments, the debates. On the eve of this decision by the council, do you try and talk to counselors individually? I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, I have, and I just hope that that the information that they've been given and they really think about it. Again, this is only a recommendation out of the finance subcommittee. It takes 6 votes of the entire council to support or not support the finance committee recommendation. And I am hearing from counselors that some of them are concerned, and I expect tonight to be a very long night. I really do. I think that I get the distinct impression that the budget's going to be opened up. And it's very rare that that happens. There's usually 1 or 2 small things, but I'm hearing that people are coming up with different proposals because nobody's crazy about everything that's going on with this budget. And I think that, I'm hoping that common sense and prevails, and we can look at things and look at the facts associated with these reductions, not just turn and say, I just don't want it. Because you have to have rationale behind it, and I don't see any good rationale behind some of the cuts that have been made in my proposed budget. So, I'm hoping tonight that we can look at it and that cooler heads will prevail, and that we look at what we need to do for this city. I mean, we're in great financial shape. These reductions are unnecessary as far as I'm concerned and will adversely affect the operations of the city, and I'm very concerned about that. If they pass, then I'm going to have to sit down with department heads and we're going to have some serious discussions, and if I need to go back to the council again, I'm going to have to do it. I need to do what I believe is right. I'm in charge of running the city every day, and I've got to make sure that we continue our operations. I will never compromise public safety, and I want to make sure that we continue to give the services that our residents expect and deserve. So I think it's going to be difficult. We're going to have to really we're going to have to make some tough decisions depending on what happens tonight.
When you talk about the potential reductions with safety issues, everyone seems to have, I talk to a lot of firefighters, I've interviewed a lot, and they all say that people always have that, well, it's not going to happen to me mindset. Do you think that because all these counselors, they live in the city, do you think that that's fallen over into their line of thinking? I mean, because why would you want to make reductions on safety issues?
That's
Do you know
part
what I
of,
mean?
I understand what you're saying, and I don't understand. I don't think, I doubt that there's anybody that hasn't used our emergency response system. I mean, I've called 911 and had the fire department at my house for various things. A couple of months ago, I called. I have a gas alarm in my house, and the combustible gas alarm went off. I didn't know whether it was a false alarm or not. I went right outside the house, and they came. Thank goodness it was a false alarm. But if it hadn't been, we've seen explosions in homes. You don't know.
Right.
I mean, I've had them there when my son's had an asthma attack at midnight when he was little, and I would never compromise that. I mean, we see the house fires. We've seen an increase in the number of fires, and if you don't have a full complement of staff that are trained, that people think you just show up and things just happen, but everybody has a responsibility in terms of that operation and how they fight a fire. And if you don't have everybody in all the pieces, then you can't complete the task. We have a great mutual aid program with our surrounding communities, but that's not going to help because everybody's in the same boat. So I'm really concerned about that.
Right. Let's look at the Capitol before we take a break and you bring your guests on. Talk about the Capitol and what's happening there.
Well, normally I submit a pretty large, $8 to $10 to $12 million capital program. Obviously, in the tough financial times that we're in, I submitted a very small, I think it was about $1.5 to $1.6 million in capital requests. Capital requests are something that long-term that we don't usually put in the operating budget. The reason I did it this way, I put a small request down, just things that we absolutely needed, and that was equipment. We have turnout gear for the fire department. We have, I believe, new rifles for the police department. We have some capital equipment for DPW. They haven't gotten any pieces of equipment in a couple of years, and they're in desperate need. I think we have 5 or 6 vehicles that have been now pulled off the road because they're no longer safe. So we've had to pull them off. So that's very concerning to me. So what I did this year was we talked earlier about free cash. I made the decision, rather than to bond these and pay for them over a long course, we had money in free cash to use that money to outright purchase these things. So it's done, it's over, we don't have to bond them and incur those interest expenses. It's, a bond is like a loan, and we have to pay interest on it. If we can afford to purchase them outright, I think we should. So I have that capital request in front of the City Council. I had a little issue with the capital request in that some councilors have, a decision I made when putting the operating budget together was there had been money funded for GPS for the DPW. And when we got the final costs, it was going to be $126,000 to implement the GPS system. And I just, in all good conscience, could not fund that. I just believed that was the first year cost, and then after that it's $42,000 a year for that system. Wow. And I absolutely did not believe that was the right thing to do. But we had the Finance Committee meeting, and there were counselors that said, there's not going to be any equipment unless we have GPS. So I reluctantly, and I say reluctantly because I don't think it's the right thing to be doing, spending $126,000 on GPS when we're eliminating positions. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But sometimes you have to compromise. You have to give a little in order to get what you need. And at this point, we desperately need equipment for the DPW. I mean, we've got some of our project managers out using their personal cars on the side of a road on a project. It's unsafe. Yeah. We need cars with lights and, big cars that people recognize, and the lights, so that the hazard lights and the strobe lights and everything that we have on these safety lights on the vehicles to be out checking projects. So I did what I needed to do in order to get the equipment, but I absolutely do not believe it was the right thing to do.
Right. Well, and I don't mean to cross-reference, but we do have a new show on Channel 10 that's in the works, that's on the DPW, and I think the viewers are starting to understand what a huge part of the city the DPW is. So.
Yeah, I don't think people realize, the various divisions and everything that's handled. So, we need to do what we have to get some equipment for the guys down there. They really need it, and hopefully, putting in the request for the funding for the GPS will get what we need for down there. But it's desperate. I mean, we're at a point where when you have that many vehicles pulled off the road, it's just going to cause a lot of issues. So.
It's a very tough time of year, is it not?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to July, new fiscal year. It's a couple of months before, then we get into closing the books and getting that all done. But this time of year, I get tired. Yeah. By the end of it, it's a lot of nights, a lot of meetings, end of year school activities, a lot of weekend things. By the end of June, I'm usually take the first 2 weeks of July off because I'm tired.
And on a more positive note, graduation was terrific.
Graduation was fantastic. I have to tell you, it's probably one of the highlights. I've done 3 things in the last couple of weeks that are I really enjoy looking forward to. National Honor Society induction. I always speak at that, and it was a little different for me this year because my son's now he's going to be a senior, and he's president of the National Honor Society at the high school. So it was really great for me to be able to speak at that when he was being inducted as the president. I embarrassed him, but
of course you did.
I had to do it. And then we have the Mayor's Youth Service Awards, and we did those last week. And just to really give the kids kudos for what they've done volunteering in the community. It's just amazing what these students have done. And I really enjoyed that. And then graduation. I mean, what's better than to be part of these students' lives? And I know, having kids around the same ages, I know so many of these students. So it's really great to be able to hand them their diploma, and by the end of it, I've got that smile is stuck on my face because it's hand them the diploma, turn around, get their picture taken, and my feet are killing me after an hour of standing up there. But it's just wonderful to see where these students are going and the life that they have before them. It's just so exciting. It really is. So.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and talk about more exciting things, the summer programs that they have at the Rec Department with Dave Grasso, and Priscilla Ryder's also going to be here. So thank you for taking a few moments with me.
Appreciate it.
And you are watching Corner Office on WMCT-TV.
Because it's fun. For our health. exercise. To save lives.
As a physical educator, I'm committed to having my kids jump rope for heart because it's great exercise, it keeps them healthy and fit, and it gives them the coordination they need to be active throughout their lifetime. Right, kids? Yeah! Parents and teachers, if you want to join the hundreds of Massachusetts schools already jumping rope for heart, call or log on today to learn more.
Welcome back to Corner Office. I'm pleased to have with me two of my favorite people in the city that we enjoy working with who have great summer programs. We have Dave Grasso, the Recreation Director, and Priscilla Ryder, our Conservation Officer. We're going to talk about some of our summer programs. We've got so much going on. Dave, I'm going to start with you. You have so many programs in the summertime that I just kind of want to give a list and then hit some highlights and how people can get information. Tell me about some of your programs.
Well, first, any information that you'd like, you just call the Recreation Office, and of course we have our website. Right now we have listed on our homepage approximately 48 weeks of different programs.
Wow.
Doesn't include other highlights like the summer concert series. I've got, we have the boat launch, we have the beach, we have the 2 wading pools, sports clinics, like I said, approximately 48 weeks of programming.
Let's talk, you know what, let's take some of these a little bit of time. The summer concert series, let's talk about that.
Okay.
That's on...
We actually have our first show this week, which is the 19th. We open up with the Reminiscence. And then the second week, we do have John Penny Band, and then we go into July. We have shows right up through the last week of August, 2 of which are being sponsored by the Masons.
That's great.
So
That's
pretty
always,
neat.
I love the summer concert series. I mean, it's, for those who don't know about it, I don't know how you couldn't know about it, but it's on Union Common Thursday nights at 7 o'clock.
Thursday night at 7,
It's a great
and
program.
every band we have has a Marlboro connection, so that's pretty neat, and they're all great bands.
That's great. And we also have the Saturday morning Discovery program for kids, and that's also held at Union Common?
That's on Union Common Saturday mornings, and that's run by the Arts Alliance, and that starts at, I believe, 11.
I think, yeah. That's good.
11 to 12. And again, they put on a great show and well attended. Both events are very well attended.
It's a great opportunity with the kids to have something to do on a
Yes.
Saturday morning. That's great. Now, we also have, you talked about the wading pools. We have 2.
Yes, one at Hildreth and one at the old Bigelow, Orchard Street. And we look to open them up actually this weekend.
Oh, that's great.
We're hoping Friday, providing we have no snags with the mechanical aspects of things, but they're all cleaned out. We're actually filling them up today, and we'll be treating them throughout the week, and hopefully we'll be on time on Friday.
Well, as somebody who has a pool, you can never predict whether they're going to
Right.
open and be correct, but
Right.
but that's great. It's a great opportunity. The wading pools are good for little kids. Now, if you have bigger kids and you want to do something, we have the beach.
We have the Municipal Beach, and we were actually open this past weekend. Of course, it was rather cold, but we were there.
Saturday was great.
The facility looks good, and we're well staffed, trained. Got a lot of great young people who are working for us. A lot of them of which have come back again and again and again. So we're really excited that we're very fortunate to have a well-staffed with lifeguards, because a lot of surrounding communities aren't so lucky.
That's great. Well, we're talking about water, so I'm going to kind of go over to Priscilla for a minute. We'll go back to some of the
Okay.
other programs, and that was a good segue, wasn't it? There's a lot of programs that that happen during the summer that you're involved in, and one of them has to do with a water program.
Yep, there's the Water Rise workshop that the Organization for the Assabet River and Mass Audubon are putting on, and I think in Marlboro, it is every Tuesday from at 10 o'clock. Kids can go to the Grove, which is right off of Bolton Street, and they get a lesson on how to protect our water and about what little animals are in the water and what makes the water healthy and that sort of thing. So it's an educational, environmental education that is free, and people have been using it a lot, and kids have been learning a lot, and the parents usually learn a lot too. So it's a great program that's for free.
Run by, or does it, but
Yep.
aren't there students or like college students
Yes.
that actually run the programs?
Correct. They hire college students to do it, and they've put together curriculum. So it's great. It's a great program, and it's really fun. I mean, you learn a lot. You learn quite a bit. And,
Now, what age is this program
it's
appropriate for?
I think it's from age 6 to 12 is is the target age, but you know, we get all kinds, all levels, but that's the age we're looking for.
Now, other than the water programs, there's so many things in terms of what
We just have lots of
opportunities.
conservation land. We have 7 pieces of conservation land that have trails on them. If you go to the city's conservation website, you can get the trail maps. It tells you how long the trails are. And then there's Callahan State Park, which is another park that's here. And then the other park that people should learn about is the Assabet River National Wildlife Refuge, which is right on the Marlboro-Hudson border. And it's 2,000 acres of land. They're building a brand new visitor center. It's going to be a fabulous resource. So it's 2,000 acres, has beautiful ponds, beautiful trails. It's going to be a destination point, and it's right in our backyard. So it's really great.
Plus, we have the rail trail.
And we have the rail trail, and that's a great place if you have kids and you want to bike with them in a safe place. It's a wonderful place to be. And then we have a volunteer who's going to be doing a Saturday walk series on all of our conservation lands. The next one is next Saturday. It's the first Saturday of the month, and it'll be advertised in the newspaper as to what location they're going to, just to introduce people to trails.
So there's all kinds of outdoor things,
lots of
conservation
Yep.
land and trails and water
Yep.
programs.
So if people don't want to drive too far, there's some really beautiful places right here in the city that you can explore and feel like you're in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I think that's why I wanted to have you both on to talk about the opportunities for the summer, because with this economy, a lot of people aren't, they don't have the money to go away on the vacations that they normally do. So we have so many opportunities. I mean, think about it. We've talked about the concert series, the conservation land, the Saturday morning programs, and that's only to name a few. We've got the beach, which is a fantastic value for a family. I mean, even if you're going for a day, it's $5 to park, but if you want to buy the pass for the summer. What other programs, Dave, we only have about a little over a minute left, but just let me know some of the programs, run down some of the...
Sure, some of our more popular programs, Project Summer Adventure, which has been a great success over the last 10 years. We're actually almost sold out. We've got a few openings left here and there throughout the weeks. We have our Skyhawks clinics. We have Ernie DiGrigorio's coming to Marlboro, and he's going to be working for us, running a basketball clinic at the Field House. Former NBA Rookie of the Year, for those who don't know, 1974. So I'm looking forward to seeing him, working with him. We have a field hockey program working with the high school, Paula Ryder. So we're looking forward to that, trying to promote some interest in the girls playing field hockey. So that's just a couple.
A lot of the programs, we're running out of time, but a lot of these programs still have openings?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
All right, so if they have any questions about anybody has any questions about openings in the programs, they can go to the website.
Go to the site, yes.
Go to the city website and go to the Recreation Department
Yes.
page, and they can get any of the information, or just call the Rec Department and
Yes.
ask. So,
Yeah.
thank you both for being with me today. I appreciate it. It's great to really let everybody know about all the wonderful opportunities we have in the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
You've been watching Corner Office. I'm Mayor Nancy Stevens, and I'll see you next month.